digging. I love this digging analogy. So you're digging. You're digging by yourself, and you got to the bottom. Did you get to the bottom, or did you just get tired? Ask a friend.
Perfect.
My friends and I were talking about Chris Brown's song lyric, which goes, "I only fuck with bitches with nice hair." I think it's racist, but some of my friends think it's just a preference. One of them even said kinky hair is not nice. How do I tell my friends their opinions are trash? Just to clarify, we're all black women.
So what is nice hair?
Let's start with your opinions are trash. That's simple. Go on.
I mean, it's just a preference, right? It's just a preference. I am totally kidding. Don't come for me.
No, you better watch out.
Wow.
Camera rolling,
I was
audio
ready.
going.
Damn.
I prefer smart people. That's a preference. I think preferring like a hair texture or a skin tone is pretty problematic because you're not actually understanding why you like that, and it's also based on colonialistic history. So I feel like personally, I would rather not put race or like hair texture or skin tone into a preference. I think more intellectually knowledgeable and like maturity is a preference.
Okay, let's go back to the whole Chris Brown thing and it being a preference. Are we allowed to have a preference? You can still stay to the fact of, hold on, before that happens, just hear me out. I'm not saying I'm not saying to judge what it is or to criticize whatever it is or to hate on any of it. You can still consider all of it to be beautiful. But are you allowed to have a preference as an individual of what you deem as what you would consider as whatever you want from that person?
So I think if your preference is rated or rooted in racism, I think you really need to check yourself as to why that's your preference in the first place.
In what? Okay, but what sense though?
So the conversation around what good hair is
not good hair.
No, but what I'm saying, we're using that as the example, right? So the conversation around what good hair is, what the good black is, whatever good, insert whatever word you're looking for, those preferences tend to come from an infrastructure that is built on this is what beauty looks like, right? And so if you ascribe to that as somebody who is like the bottom of the barrel of what beauty looks like or what you're told beauty should look like, then maybe you need to question as to why that's your goal when you yourself are not the goal, right? Because I'm sorry, we're not using Chris Brown as moral high ground. That's not our moral barometer. Love his music, but as a person and the decisions that he's made publicly, that's not somebody I'm going to look as a moral compass. So you can have your feelings about what you want, but the bigger conversation is he's not the only person who thinks like that. No, 100%. So when you're saying is it okay to have a preference? Of course, everybody has their preferences. They have what they're attracted to, but you need to check yourself. Is what I'm attracted to because of what I'm taught by the outside world, or really what I find beautiful?
I think that it's really important for us to also think about how wrong it is that one group's insecurities about what beauty means for them can be pushed on to everybody else to get us to internalize their own insecurity. Beauty doesn't look one way. Beauty is not just one thing. It's multifaceted, and we need to value that.
But that's what I'm saying. For that individual who considers that to be beautiful, and not saying none of the
but again, with him specifically, because of the decisions he's made in the past very publicly, we know that's not the world he's coming from or the thought process he's coming from.
No, I'm saying, okay,
But you're speaking in general.
In general.
Yeah. Taking just Brown
whatever it is. Take CB out of there. Kick him out.
Yeah, listen, you're allowed
exit.
But just as an individual who truly believes, all hair is beautiful.
Yeah.
But
everyone
has a preference.
I think that kind of just it X's out. Yeah. It's just so not grounded in reality. It's I have such a problem with that phrase, it's just a preference. Yeah. It's a very Western form of thinking that assumes 100% individualism. This is me and I'm not shaped or influenced at all by my context or society that I'm from. And I don't vibe with that because it's it's delusional. There's no such thing as just a preference. We are taught, Inaz was saying, we are taught what beauty is. Yeah. And beauty oftentimes doesn't look like dark-skinned woman with coarse hair.
Yeah.
Like we're taught that like beauty is like a very like frail white woman with long hair. I think that's what people are talking about these days. Like I think that like saying it's just a preference assumes that like people are completely withdrawn from that reality, and it's not true. It just shows like maybe a denial of reality or an unawareness of the world that we live in. But there's no such thing as just a preference.
But a lot of racism is masked with that. So I hear often guys say, "Oh, it's just a preference. It's just a preference. I just prefer light-skinned women." It's like, hey, you know, girl, you got lots of cute friends. Can you hook me up? And it's like, okay, what are you looking for? Like, what's your I don't know, like, what are you looking for? I don't know. And then as soon as they say light skin, it's like,
yeah, like light skin.
I'm not friends with you. Like, how do I know you again?
So I have a question for the guys. When you say it's just a preference, how many times, say out of 10, is it an excuse you give to not have to explain yourself?
Oh, I think many. I do. I feel like a lot of guys do that. I'm not saying I am one of those dudes. I'm not saying I have a preference towards a hair type or a skin tone, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, everyone has some sort of bias. Everyone has that.
Yeah.
But I feel like most people, it's just it is an excuse. But we can't knock down to the fact that some people are just like, yo, I don't know what it is about me. I just want that. So why can't I have that?
We have to explore that.
But
dig deeper.
Okay, but what about
it's the knowing the why.
Yeah. They got all the way to the bottom.
Okay, you've dug.
But they're still the same. Like, yep.
Did you dig though?
Did you do the work? Did you unpack? But how can you judge?
Yeah, and the fact that you can accept that, like,
I think
dig.
that is,
you know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, dig deeper. Yeah. It doesn't seem like you found it yet.
Yeah, you can if your end result's still trash.
If your end result isn't
trash to you.
If we all preferred all things equally, or if there was attention given to everybody, or oppression didn't exist with regards to that look, then of course, if you prefer that, who cares? But at the end of the day, it is rooted in racism. So I don't care what you did to get there or what you didn't do to get to that conclusion or how you feel. It is wrong. It's incorrect. You need to be a better person.
Digging? Let's. I love this digging analogy.
100%,
So you're digging. You're digging by yourself, and you got to the bottom. Did you get to the bottom, or did you just get tired? Ask a friend. Call a friend. You know, bounce that idea off others. Like rent a few shovels. I have 3. Let me loan you some. But like, keep digging, because honestly, I really don't think that you were just born into this world being just like straight hair is just.
No, but that's
so much more beautiful.
What he's saying was like, wait, hang on. Okay, let's just say somebody dug, right? Somebody dug, they understand, like, this is how colonialism works, this is how beauty standards work, this is what we're taught, this is the society we come from, this is the society we live in. Great. But, you know, my mama, she a really pretty woman, she got straight hair, and, like, you know, I want a woman that looks like my mama. Like, why is that still problematic? If you've done the work, right?
Did he want someone that looks like his mom?
Sure. But like, not the greatest example, but like, you know what I mean?